Oh,
This meeting is being,
where's mine? What period is it?
Oh, that was locked.
That's right, chief. No, that one,
Got it.
this one.
This one should be undone,
we're live.
because we gotta check. I mean, he might be carrying it stolen.
That's a lot. We don't let him carry a real gun, that's too water.
Okay,
Lock the public out.
thank you.
You locked it under the main door? Oh, no, I didn't lock it. So you did it for a nice job.
We were live. Kim's still sliding, so it's okay.
It is, 6:30. We're gonna open this, special session, budget workshop. If everyone would please stand for notification, get the pledge of allegiance.
Dear Heavenly Father, please help us tonight as we work through the budget that we may be able to have enlightenment on the things that we need to do to help our city grow. Help us that we may have the people of our city in mind and that we may look at the money and see what we can do with it in a wise way. Please bless the people that are here tonight, that they may travel in safety. Please help us through all the things that we do here. People may understand that we're trying to do our best. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This shouldn't take too long. Okay, any announcements? No, I want to make one on just a little bit of information that I found. I wish I'd have brought it. It's about housing development in and around the city, mainly in the city. I've talked to Al Schaefer, which is doing a lot of the building. He's got a number of houses, close to 8 or 10, that are going in down off of Rabbit Cove, I believe in the Cove Hemlock area. That area there, he's got 5 more he's ready to start in Indian Oaks, but that's a small portion of the 60, maybe 60 plus homes that he'll be building in there. So that's a lot of growth. Unless you go to these neighborhoods, you don't see them. So it's a growth that no one sees. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that out of the conversation that we had. I thought it was real good. It's promising. It is growing, so I want to put that out there. Going next to citizens input. Is there any citizens input regarding the budget workshop? Easy, people like the beautiful police departments, special fund and the park special fund.
I would like for y'all to think very strongly about the park and what the progress is going to be going forward with it. I know we've got the roads we've done and everything. There's another project I'm gonna get started on with 15 different new tables to go to each one of the RV spots. And I'll do a barbecue grill in between each. So you'll have a picnic table per RV, then you'll have a barbecue grill for both campers to share. We're working on, I believe there's some stuff, Kevin, that you had talked about before. And I know you can't just, it says an input, but about the sewer, electricity, and the water connectors for all 15 locations. We need to go over that, plus the electricity on the park. I'd like to see that move forward.
Is that it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna get straight into the budget workshop for the EDC, Cape Florida Regional. Fee special for,
Jim?
yes, oh, yes.
I just was wanting to make a comment about, it's not about the actual budget, but it's only one entry on your agenda, but. What I wanted to raise a concern about here is that. It seems like you're jumping into setting our budget for 2023 and we still haven't got an audit from 2020 or 2021 and 2022. And it's kind of, how can you know what you're going to do in the future if you don't have an official record of what you've done in the past? There's been no public discourse or public display of any kind of information about the audit, no explanation. So that's my concern is, I realize that things have to happen, but obviously some major things have not happened for the last 2 years, and that's concerning. And that's why I'm here today.
Okay, thank you. Moving right along. Okay, the first one up in your packet should be the West Washington Economic Development Corporation. And that's for budget year 2022-23. If you'll take a moment, if you haven't already, take a moment to look at the past, like, for instance, the EDC, we have a CD with EDC, and it's basically the same number. The EDC will always remain. The cash in the bank, we were able to save some money on that, and I don't know if that includes the money. I don't know. We've written a check from EDC to cover the expenses to add to the parking. You did okay. I didn't know. Okay, so this number reflects that. Okay.
Already gone out of the bank.
Okay. And the prior carryover, which is unpaid budget items, we've got $15,000 on the budget. Oh, it is. I've never seen one before me.
That's what the worksheet. You should have a copy.
Okay.
Here, this one is kind of.
Oh, that's it.
This is the one you're used to.
This
one has the column of what.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
So, hopefully everybody's had time to look over this. Does anyone have any questions concerning any portion of the budget?
I think that means perfect.
It's small.
Yeah.
What interests me is the amount of money, total income carryover, for the 2022 to 2023 budget. It's a significant amount. That will only grow as the city collects sales tax. There's not much on there. We got 54 budget for Visit Lake Washington.
Yeah, and that may even, we don't get, so,
Actually, I think it's Visit Lake WashingtonTX.com.
yeah.
Okay.
It'll also grow as we continue paying the loan back.
I believe the chamber bids are $250.
Whenever I checked with them before I put it on the budget, they told me that EDC was only 100.
Yeah.
So,
Really?
Yeah. because it's city entity.
I got
They
a
will
question.
do different charges for different.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for the whole call.
Yeah,
What's that?
yeah, man.
But the administration fees, he was looking at that 20,825, but it's actually, it takes in
It's a
all,
total.
yeah, that's a total of all.
Oh, I see it. I joined the, okay, yeah, I got it, I got
It kind of stood out to look sort of like its own line for a second.
it. Okay, I got it, I got it. Coming through there, do you want to see anything else? The,
I just would like to make a comment.
yeah,
We have quite a bit, for training and travel for our people this year.
yeah,
We're really planning on sending people to get this basic training so that they actually know what they're doing in the EDC and can
Yeah.
actually legally do the things that we need to do. So that's
I think
a
education is
big part of,
paramount to everything. And I think when these people are trained, we'll have even better community. Not saying nothing wrong with it now,
I'm glad that was done.
but me too, yeah, exactly.
we're planning on everyone to have the basic sales tax and the basic training. By the time that we.
That's good.
Good deal.
Mowing, wouldn't you mowing for $1,000?
I still don't know where that is.
It's-
I have not had.
It's
that
mowing that
information.
auto.
$1,000 a year, you can mow that hot.
Actually, 500 does it every twice a year.
That's all we mow.
We don't mow it that
5
often.
acres.
We don't mow it.
I mean, it's just a field, it's field mowing, so,
Yeah,
Shredded.
it's cheap.
yeah, it's just field mowing.
What's
Might
all,
need to go up.
what's all in this direct business and finish? What are we doing there?
Hang on.
Direct business
Oh.
is, that's one of the things that when we went to the classes that they really wanted us to start doing, wanted to start giving businesses an incentive to come to our area.
Okay.
And sometimes that's just a matter of, we'll give you this kind of discount on something, and sometimes it's, we'll help you with doing some kind of like driveway,
Yeah.
whatever that takes. And so we're putting in a little bit of money for that on there. And it's not gonna be any more of the facade grants. It will be more like, something that structurally helps the business.
Would,
I like that.
it
What,
would,
what was that under?
The business, direct business.
Direct business.
page 2 at the very bottom.
107,
101 through 107.
gotcha.
That's capital. Oh, yeah, I see. Number.
I like the way it's listed. Good job.
We still haven't approached, and I'll take the heat for this. We haven't approached the Groom and Sons about annexing, and they experienced, interest before. And then we need to get with them, and see. There will be, yeah, that too, yeah, them too.
Yeah,
But-
we made an approach to them and then they turned around and put a whole new sewer system. in.
That was Groom and Sons, yeah.
But Vernon Sun still is looking forward to being part of the city.
Yeah, they want to be in. the-
Well, we'll address that, I'll go address that, of course, that's gotta go above the manager bid. I'll get all that information and find out. And we'll get something going. I'm hoping EDC can help with the infrastructure on that. It would generate tens of thousands of dollars in sales tax. If we can do that, it would be a huge plus for us. Financially to both the city and the economic development. Moving on, is there any other line items or that you may or may not have questions with? What is the job / workforce relation that popped up?
So one of the problems that a lot of the businesses have out here is getting people to work for them, actually take a job here. And if we team up with the job workforce, they will help us find people to work for some of our businesses. And actually train them. Something that we want to try to. We've had that on the budget every time, but we really haven't used it. And we've got some contacts now at the job workforce that we're going to try to pursue doing some.
Really and truly, those last areas on this budget are probably some of the most important areas on this budget for what the EDC is meant for.
I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm. 118, 105, what is that?
Acquisition of fixed assets.
It has to do with upkeep of the properties that we do own and any assets that we paid for in the past. So, for example, the road in the park was an asset that we paid for in the past
So an acquisition would be, I got you.
to help maintain it.
Yes,
The bathrooms in the park, the EDC actually paid for before. And to keep maintaining those, that money would come from that area also. Anything that the EDC has paid for in the past as one of their projects, the upkeep or the maintenance of it comes out of that. line item.
that makes sense. Thank you.
Have you reached out to anybody for is the ARC digital sign?
Yes, Jim McElroy, our attorney, is filing papers as we, on suing them for the sign.
But-
And we're going to sue for the sign itself, for damages, for it taking so long to get here and
We did that. in 180.
Actually, what I'm asking is, you've got 11,000 here to spend next year on that. You sure?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
We have,
because it should have been taken off.
it should have.
No,
been-
it's a road.
Should that have been?
it's
on
in
the
the
road?
capital.
That's a-
It's capital.
Okay, I put it on the wrong one.
Put it on the wrong one. Okay,
There we go.
I knew that
I was
something was
fixing to
wrong.
say, okay, that's me, that's my mistake.
that was the Park Road
Okay,
instead of. Yeah, no, that sign is out.
that's why, because I thought, okay, I think that was me.
Yeah, that could have been on Park Road.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, move that up.
Please move that up.
So does that mean we're not gonna ever have a spot sign or,
No, that
okay.
just means that the one that we,
yeah, it's gone. Yeah.
But we do have somebody locally here that could probably help us.
we
When the lawsuit.
can address that with some of the other. Line items.
Well,
If we need.
I think we had a meeting with EDC months ago and we had to give permission or request rather
Yeah.
that Jim McElroy pursues it. And then once
Yes, we did.
So,
We had a vote on it.
we had to do that before he could do it, go to the next step. So,
Yeah, so he's working on it right now.
I just wanted to make, because I thought, oh, I'll do something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody else got anything on the EDC budget? Nobody? Chair, we're entertaining a motion.
Oh, we don't have to have a motion.
We don't have to.
We can just move on to the next
Just
one.
move on.
There's nothing for fishing tournaments.
No, you sure didn't.
Well, how are we gonna do a catfish festival in March if there's no funding for it?
We don't pay them,
No,
Well,
this will be a local event starting in every April from here on out, a catfish festival.
Who was going to do that? Because everyone we talked to wasn't interested in doing anything like that.
I've got fishermen that are ready to do this.
Okay,
And April is our month to do, it's the best month for an actual fish fry.
well, they can come to the EDC and we can talk about something else. It can go under a different line item than the fish tournament.
Cat Masters won't be here.
Yeah, they won't be here this year, and the Cabela's won't be here next year.
Cat Masters. Cat Masters
Actually,
didn't give me a straight answer, but he did end up saying that these other cities that they do them in, their Chamber of Commerce donates up to $10,000, and we can't justify. I don't know if that's the reason they're not coming. Or if it's, hey, we didn't do too good last year, there wasn't that many good fish because of the earlier in the year, or the previous year. We had a big fish kill off, and a bunch of fish
Well,
died.
And I'm not saying that it's not a good thing for us to have tournaments on our lake, but I don't know if the city or the EDC is at the point right now that we can actually promote these things whenever we have the rest of our city to actually try to resupply it.
that's sort of what we felt when we were doing the budget there. We
The
felt
fishing tournaments are a great thing, and I love seeing them, but I don't know if the city's in a spot to where we're the ones to be pushing that yet. I think the EDC would do the city a better justice of trying to get people like the lumberyard or the car lot. If the EDC was involved in helping us be able to figure out how to bring them into our city, because there's going to be cost involved with all the utilities and this and that goes along with it.
part of it, you have to understand what the EDC is for. It isn't for promotion per se of the city. It's for developing businesses
Me?
within the city. No, anybody.
Yeah, she's just speaking, she's just speaking.
Speaking in general.
In general.
It's like,
And that's what I envision it as, and as I've talked to other cities, and that's what I see in some of the other cities. Now, the EDC does get involved a little bit in partnership. Now, your Chamber of Commerce's are the ones that are usually the event makers, right? So Terrell just had, I forget what it was, they just had a big to-do not too long.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday in Chamber, that was all, the Chamber of Commerce was the root of that. So,
and we will support, we've already been doing.
not to say the EDC may not have kicked in a little bit on their taco thing,
But if you don't budget it, you can't.
but they weren't the root of it. And I understand what you're saying, and I agree with you, but I feel like that we're in a time of we really need to breathe life into our city. The EDC needs to be, hopefully, we'll be right beside all of the growth that's coming, right? There may be other things, and I don't know, I get it.
I think we're going with it.
And not to say to Pam's point, that if something does come up, it's not to say the EDC couldn't look at some line items, and go, you know what? We can help out with this event. We'll just pull from here, and here, and we're gonna help out with this event.
We do have, some money that's budgeted in marketing and promoting the city. We have areas that are, other areas that are budgeted in there that we could do with that. So it's not saying that we don't have money in the budget. We can do some of these other things. It's just that we don't have them assigned to a specific item so that we could use them for whatever we felt like at the time was the most important item to use it on.
The visit LakeTawaukee.com, is that the website?
That's the website.
It should have, after West Milwaukee, the I should have tx.com. West Milwaukee.
Okay, that's the website. So you kind of take that out of that figure. So I mean, there's $7,000 right there.
Yeah.
And
The point that I'm trying to make to you guys, whether you're council or your EDC or your P and Z, or if you're the police department, we are the catfish capital of Texas. And if we don't find a way to find our niche in there, you might as well call this lake dry.
Yeah, I understand. what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
and so I asked the council strongly to look at every dime you spend to make sure that you've got something in promotion, because we have local people that want to do these fish fests, and they're not a tournament,
right, and I don't disagree with you, but that's where we need to get the marinas and restaurants and all that involved.
because we don't have a
Because they're
big
the ones
planner.
that benefit the most out
Right,
Yeah.
right, I agree.
We can still do, if one comes up, we can still do it, we'll just have to amend the budget.
Right. Budget.
Well, not necessarily, there's 7,000 sitting right there. Right here, if you get all the marinas involved and the restaurants involved, the business owners involved, which is how that should work within a community like this.
That should create all the money you need.
And well, maybe not all of it, but then the EDC hypothetically kicks in 3,000, 4,000 with all the other monies,
Mhm.
then we're golden, right? But-
Exactly.
If by putting it under marketing and promoting,
Right.
that allows us not to just say that it's only
Bigger
can
umbrella.
be used for.
But the EDC is not the party planner.
No, it is not. But it
No,
does
but we
allow
need
us,
one.
that if we
Quote, unquote.
want to donate to something else later on, we can take it from that line item.
It's the same, I want to make sure we're on the same page here.
Yes.
Okay,
That is.
I think
well, I'm trying to get rid of the ones that,
I know exactly what you're saying.
that was it on that. We're gonna move to the next one you said earlier.
beautiful a little bit. The next one would be, are we,
I'm getting ready to.
is everybody prepared to move on? Do you have any other questions, comments, concerns regarding the EDC board? Everybody good? Okay. All right, the next one out would be the keep Walking Beautiful. Let's see.
This, this was furnished by Kathy Majors when they had their meeting,
Right,
and I put it on our format, the way that we do it. And just transfer the numbers.
wonder what their,
Why would they go down on? Oh,
well, they may have had a bad year, 2021, there was, there was the beginning of 2021 when that freeze hit, wasn't it? Yeah,
February.
February 2021.
I'm wondering if they're thinking that their spring plant sale was going to not bring in as much because of drought conditions, and trying to grow plants for that spring
Yeah.
plant sale. I'm wondering if that's part of it.
So basically, they're operating under about a $5,500 budget or revenue bar for the year. And they got the total expenses. I'm not sure what this Welcome to West Walking sign project is.
You know, like what they have at the city of Greenville is you go into the edge on 69 and you go, they're wanting to put up a sign at each end of our city.
Okay, I thought that's what it may
That's
be.
what they work for.
And they've been working on it a long time.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think that would be great.
That's what they're wanting to do. They're still, you know, trying to raise funds for that. I spoke with Kathy the other day. She came in and she asked us to our flower garden that's in the park. She asked us to get it prepared, get some of the rose bushes pulled out of there and whatever. And they would like to help us, but if we could put some money towards it, so in our budget, try, you know, as far as the park, put some. But I asked her, since she has the connections with some of the people that have the horticulture that are involved and can tell us what would grow in there. And what would grow in there certain times of the year, because most of the time it's dormant. You don't see any color, you don't see anything growing. in it.
Yeah,
And that's what she told me. She would get us some information on that.
well, there are a lot of drought tolerant plants that could be, what'd you say? Lynn?
Cactus.
That's
You can grow right now.
How big a space is it? Is the,
That, oh, what side of that?
It's,
You know,
it's as big as this room.
What?
and where the flowers,
It's almost as big as this, room.
you know, right there in front of the,
Not quite. but it's
memorial.
It's pretty close. If you cut all the corners off this room.
And it does have a watering system there that you could water.
Yeah, it works. The pond works. The pond, I built it up last year. When I trimmed all those-
Yeah, you sit on that little
Wow.
wall.
when I trimmed all those rose bushes last year. All the water still works. Yeah, we cleaned it up a bunch last year.
So you're talking probably about $6,000 worth of plants going that we just spent.
No, it's less than that. It's, I wouldn't say it's that way by this way. It's not that big, would you say, Kevin?
No,
About like this?
It's pretty darn big.
It's the way.
I would think it cost $6,000, but
Well, it doesn't all,
Just in that little spot in front of Indian Oaks. It cost us about $1,000 just to put in plants there.
it gets expensive when you have somebody do it, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're wanting to plant, if we can come up with the plants, but they're also wanting to help us with what we could put there. That would, you know, be. Perennial, that'll go.
Well, they need to go talk to horticulturists, Galloway's or, Tropical John's in Rockfall, he knows stuff.
I like.
Keep the kids in.
Okay.
Plastic
Where they knew.
Hey, okay, well, that's
Gee,
not, that's not on it.
Hey, but-
Let's go back to the budgets.
Never done it.
Go back to the budgets.
Okay. We're on that to walking, I keep walking beautiful. We've talked about the sign. Really, they've got 5,500 carried over. And 2,500 that's supposed to be a welcome to West Spartan sign project. I thought that they'd been working on this for a number of years. Does their money roll over? In other words, do they carry over?
Well, what they have in the bank is the 4,000,
Okay,
and then they're carrying, they're taking, 4,000 of that, and they are putting it in with this anticipated revenue that they're gonna bring in. So,
But
okay,
in
I
that, do you
see.
see that part where it says yard, signs miscellaneous and there's nothing there? There was $1,800 there. I'm afraid they're missing something there.
Those were the signs they used to put out
I
in the
think-
yard.
I think what they spent last year, they got them in bulk.
Oh,
Or, you know, the yard of the
yard of the
month
month.
and signs like that. I think they got,
I just don't want them to miss something and then come up later and be short.
but I think that's why it was so much.
Yeah, that makes sense because the year prior was 450.
Exactly, that-
450, so maybe they.
Maybe they did.
Maybe they got a couple years supply in one hit.
Okay.
So it sounds like.
Yeah. So they're not budgeting anything. for this year, yeah.
This year. And that's it. I hope they can do those signs.
But there's also not a fall plant or a spring, spring plant, no?
It's a fall plant sale, but it's not on there.
Well,
But
actually,
That's an
they
expensive-
renamed it to Fall Garage Sale. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And last year, they did have a fall garage sale. I think it was their first year that they did that. And at that point, they do buy plants as well, so.
So what about-
Okay, so they still have money for the spring plant sale, the fall plant sale.
Well, because they're doing a garage
Yeah.
instead.
Right, yeah.
It's a holdover thing?
What is a hold
Then
Wow.
I don't really know what she meant by that.
I think that's what she was gonna have left.
So,
For
Actually,
next year,
actually, as you see, look on the very back. And according to her balance, she's got $1,339. Yeah, that's what it is.
okay.
$1,339 balance after that. So
Okay,
it had to do something, it had to do with this 4,300 they started with.
Yes.
They're only taking forward.
right.
Yeah.
So that,
I don't know
that-
where the other 1,000 coming from.
well.
That's gonna be in
Well, that's exactly for, 3,000. If you take that number on the second page, the only the 13,3974, and you take the first thing, the cash in the bank, 43,3974, so they're taking out $3,000 to add to their, total expenses. It's a good thing budget, I think. Yeah, does anyone, have any other comments, questions? Nothing? All right, we will be before the usual. We want to, the PD special,
PD special things on.
okay,
I don't know, I got some donuts right there.
popcorn, apples. The PD special, the profit and loss,
what?
the profit and loss that I give us. The
Oh, you still like it, man.
My first suggestion was for us, this account is not bringing in any revenue. It is just bringing in a little interest each month, and it's usually about a couple of cents each month. And I had spoke with John and I asked him about if maybe we could close this account, move this to general fund, put it in the operation in the general fund with the police department.
Where did this money come from and what was it?
This money, let me see, this money,
Didn't you see your money?
this is not seizure money.
No.
This money was, as I looked way back, it was some auction money.
Oh,
And that was for when not, we used to have a company that, would pay us to run vehicles to put them out to sell. Remember, that was a company out of Roy City. And that's when we had a dispatcher full-time here at City Hall, and, she dispatched. But her salary was paid from that as well. We brought in a lot of money off of that, and they stopped it at some point. Wasn't it because it was illegal? That's what I thought. And so this is how the money.
Okay.
okay, let's close this account.
Let's close it quickly.
Yeah,
So that's why I did not do a budget on
let's get rid of this account and put the money somewhere we can use it.
it.
Not create no more, accounts like that.
So that's how it started. And as I was talking to John, it was used for ammo, vehicles. It was used for all kinds of things after, that account was just left there. For uniforms. So it's used strictly for the police department.
So we're gonna move that over to their. How are we gonna do it?
We're gonna take a motion.
And I'll contact the auditor and ask him safely, how do we do that? To close that.
Bring it back to it.
Okay, any other comments on that? So we're talking about, what's the part money? Talking about $1,960, correct?
Actually, it is Wendy,
759.
Oh, comment, okay, the expenses, the
it's around 2759.
2259, yeah. But where the 1959 come from, there's no expenses down below it. One of the,
That was what was budgeted, and we haven't spent anything last year. Actually, we budgeted last year $200 in donations, and we haven't received that either, so it's not 2760, it's more like 2559.
So let me ask you this, now that you said that. If we were to close this. And I may be wrong, but I've heard something about donations. There's some kind of a touchy situation, we're trying to donate to the police department. If we close this, will there not be a place for the police department to take a donation?
On general fund, there is a donation line.
There is?
Yeah, we did that last year.
Oh, you're right.
We
added this.
We added that last year because of a situation like that.
exactly.
Didn't want to create an issue.
But I will double check this, and if we can, we will.
Come back to this, okay?
Full deal.
It's not like we're in a meeting in for a while. You
Yeah.
better get comfortable.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna be sitting at it for a few weeks. Tim, we're really excited about it.
We got some work to do. All right.
All right, moving on to the West Market Special Park Fund. On their profit and loss statement.
Okay, this one was
So,
opened in 1999.
so I want to bring this back up. I know you and I have had a couple of discussions. When we put the farmer's market together, it was set up here at the county council, that's what we was gonna operate out of. No, we met with Macro later on and something different was said. But I just want to make sure before we decide what we're gonna do here, that that's not what we're gonna do. with that farmer's market money.
I never understood it to go into the park fund.
No,
The
this.
special park fund is what we said we was gonna do the operating out of, instead of creating a whole new, it was all discussed up here. Instead of creating a whole new line item and all that.
Because right now, what's
That was
really
a
needed,
temporary thing, is what I understood, so they obtained the 501(c)(3).
No, that
And
was
then they
never
had-
discussed. It was never discussed to do a 501(c)(3), we were gonna keep it underneath the city.
Yeah, it was.
I thought I remember this discussing something about.
yeah, because what
It
it's
was,
causing.
that's the only reason
This is
y'all
what
obtained
it's
it.
causing us. We had to open up a separate bank account on top of the 12 or 14 accounts we have now. And so it's taken our administrative duties is on the city count, on the city hall. We're having to do the financials for it, when in fact, the market on the lake ought to be doing that.
Well, they are doing their own. They're doing their own, but we have
We-
a checking account
That's what
here,
I'm saying. That's
and
what I
we
mean.
are depositing the money that they collect.
Do they request money, huh?
Mhm. They come in and they get they pay a bill. And we have been writing a check for it. But it is a account that says market on the lake.
Auditor's not, where's not.
It is a nightmare, and that's why I wanna make sure, because when we set this up, this is the account we said we was gonna use the line item. And we haven't done it since then, and I just wanna make sure that we clarify it this year. And that we're doing what we're gonna do there and figuring out what we're gonna do.
So my question is this, if we've been doing market on the lake for how long already? Why didn't that get brought up?
It's been,
I mean, to use this line, because there was a big debacle, I remember.
Because he had, Chris had mentioned it to me and I said, that is not the way I remember. So I don't remember it that way. So we do have, not the same communication on.
Well, I mean,
And he had asked the attorney, and the attorney did not give us an answer, and then Chris and I went in the hallway, and Chris said, look, we need to do something with this money. And, Jim at that point said, just put it in the bank and let them open their account, and then it was kind of like, we'll move on from there. And that's where it stood.
That's what,
Because
Exactly, and that's what I was
it
getting at.
was never clear.
Started here, went to the hallway and said, just open an account.
So
But
it
because
wasn't
it
done
started
in here.
here, I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Because we got to figure out what we're gonna do there. I
Does the
mean,
Market on Lake have a 501(c) now?
I don't know, do they even need?
It's operating under the city with them.
And that was the discussion, as long as
It's
we're operating
operating
into
under
the
the
city.
city. It's just like Keith West Wagon.
Yes.
I don't recall
So
we did it
what do we
that way.
do with the $6,400 that's shown in this account?
That is nothing to do with market on.
Right, no.
No,
it's-
no,
it's-
no.
What the mayor's saying is if we started using this, which I guess we just, we would just add a line to this,
So what's here?
this West Logan Special Fund.
Yeah,
We just need to add a line item for, market. We had a market on the lake fund.
but we've got budgeted, we had budgeted,
This is a separate account than what you got the Market on the Lake.
Yeah.
And, isn't it? So we would either have to transfer that money into this account
And close that.
and
account.
close that account. Or keep that account open and keep it with a separate line. Item if we think that under the
I
city.
would rather, this one has already been set up in QuickBooks. I would rather, if it went that way, I would rather mark it on the lake, be closed out. A check wrote and designating that it goes in here. Instead of opening another account. These could be sub accounts for this if we did it that way. But that, but far as, you know,
That's what
our
I,
auditor recommends, you know, hey, you guys need to get away from so many checking accounts. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with that. I can understand that.
so is this money that's in there on the special park fund that, I guess 65, 99, 76. Where does that money go?
This money was opened in 1999. And it was when they began the Catfish Festival.
So what do we do with that money?
This was strictly set up, as you see right there, for events.
It's in the park.
Yeah, park event.
And
Yeah,
what
okay.
it was first, a hand fishing tournament. Then they started collecting money from FEC and other businesses to have fireworks. They wanted it to be a fireworks every year when they started collecting money. Then they started the Christmas in the Park. Started with that come on in 2017.
So this 63.99.76 or 65.99.76 needs to be rolled back into the general fund. And
Or
is
two in the park.
that right?
That, well, it depends on, it was started for the park.
we just roll it into the park.
But we do have the park account, you know, not account. We do have the park.
Okay, so let's just hypothetically say for a moment, that $6,600 would move into the park fund. And this would be the place where Market on the Lake, this one page would become the Market on the Lake part of the budget, is that correct?
It would be its own budget, but yes. it
Yeah,
could be done
that's
that
what
way.
it'll be like a EDC
This
or a-
could be
Keep
moved
running,
and
beautiful.
used for, you know, park. We don't have to actually use it for events. We could use it for, you know, maintenance in the park for new equipment, which is badly needed.
So one thing we might better make sure we back up and do before we pull any triggers is we better go back and do some homework and look at our minutes
That, right,
to make sure, because the bottom line is this, if we already said something in a prior meeting and made some decisions or whatever,
Chris, when was that
and
account?
then we do something different
I
today,
had to go back and.
then we're all
download.
putting ourselves
I
sort of
couldn't
in a
tell you. It was probably March,
You know, we better look at our minutes to see what we said we were gonna do back then. Because if we do it different today,
A couple of months.
it can get
Prior
brought
to-
up. Well, that ain't what y'all said y'all were gonna do.
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to bring this up.
Right,
now.
we need to look at our minutes. And, you know, I would urge you, Chris, since this is something that you're passionate about, that if you do get some time, that you might, I mean, because that's something that I've actually came up with, I was curious too. I know the mayor has, and I believe on this, we've all looked through these minutes.
But the thing that I did notice was not addressed directly in the minutes.
It's
Yeah.
not.
Because it was in the hall.
You know, well, actually, the night that, we spoke to him, that was kind of like, Chris's phone, wow, hey, look, what am I gonna do? I got this money.
Because when you look forward, we changed minds, we talked here, we never would make a decision.
Right, and that's
It's more
right.
like, let's see if this is gonna work before we do something about it.
Yeah,
So,
There were some things supposed to be brought back to the council also for reapproval, and that,
so why don't we hold on to this till tomorrow or whatever, or one of the other meetings?
Yeah.
And we can look
We
at the
could,
minutes
yeah.
and figure out exactly
We'll
what we
put
need.
it back on one of our other meetings.
yeah, tomorrow because.
Yeah, I won't, if that's not on the agenda anymore, so,
Yeah,
Okay. That sounds good.
but I do need to tell you that this $260 says park board event income in that column.
Yeah.
I looked at that and that was money that was deposited October the 11th for some RV spots in the park that was deposited in the wrong account. So I've got to put it back into the park fund. So that is not in, this
Okay.
should not be in there.
So going forward, this special park fund will be owned or whatever by park meeting.
Marked on the line,
Yeah,
if we make that
if
change.
we
Maybe,
make
okay,
that.
go that way, right.
Yeah, okay, I
We
got you.
better do our homework. Make sure
Yeah,
we didn't say something that puts
but it was,
hand on the cross.
it, right. It could have been that smart because we weren't talking about it till then. We weren't talking.
Yeah.
We actually talked about it earlier than
We
that.
did?
More like,
Yeah.
more like November.
they had their first one in November.
It was after the budget because that was the problem, is we didn't already have a line item set up.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I did have one right there. The first one.
You can look at that check, but and see when the first check is written out of it, and kind of back up some more than that.
Yeah, we'd have to back up on that.
I can go back to my notes and pull my,
Yeah,
at least the date and go back this.
Before we close here, next, I would like to move on our other small accounts on Monday. If everybody, you're not available on Monday? Are you available on Tuesday?
Any other day but Monday.
Tuesday and Wednesday of next week? Okay. And then the following week, we'll try to do, can you do a Monday on that week?
Yep.
Okay, maybe a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday and try to finish it. And then, we will have to have a public hearing, for our proposed tax rate, which should be at the end of the month. We have to set that tomorrow night because we'll have to have it published in the newspaper so many days prior to having. Well, maybe we won't.
Yes.
And then possibly Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then maybe that Monday.
Going up to numbers, I guess we're done with the special part. Next up is number 7.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Kevin first, Pam second, all in favor.
Sam Reed.
Just forget.
Unanimous.
Decide on another meeting.
Tuesday and Wednesday next week, and then the following week, Monday, Tuesday.
Oh, hang on. You said Tuesday, Wednesday next week?
Uh-huh.
16th and 17th.
Okay.
And then the following week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yes, sir. 16th, 17th, 22nd, 23rd, 24th.
and 29th.
And then 29th for the 29th.
23rd, 24th, 29th.
23rd.
After we do the-
Okay, so I do have the 16th and 17th, which will be the next time we meet. And then we've got the 23rd, 24th. And I know that I'm talking about possibly doing that.
So we never started. No, 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 no.